My guest this week on Anglian Lives has been a journalist, a presenter, a broadcaster, a husband and father, a company director, a vigorous all-rounder with a fascinating past and an amazing future. Gregarious, popular, a famular man, yet never happier than when relaxing in his own 5-bedroomed, self-built house with 3 acres of land and access to a private stream. But who the hell is this mysterious enigma? This mysterious enigma is Alan Partridge.
Excellent.
My guest this week on Anglian Lives.
Yeah.
This is Norfolk Nights with Alan Partridge.
Alan Gordon Partridge is the best and best-loved radio presenter in the region.
That was for anyone who's going through a trial separation or messy divorce. The Human League with the Don't You Want Me? 50% she got. It's weighted against the man.
He was born into a changing world of rationing, teddy boys, apes in space and the launch of ITV. But the Norwich of today is a very different place, although the market still remains.
Hello, I'm Alan Partridge.
Alan's broadcasting career began as chief DJ with Radio Smile at St Luke's.
Second hand, but it's in quite good condition.
He makes a point of returning every February.
Has anyone never heard of me? No. Right, it's very rude to say
After replacing Peter Flint as the presenter of Scout About, he entered the top 8 of BBC Sports presenters.
Bang! And join me, Alan Partridge, for the big race at Marple, the horse race.
But Alan's big break came with a primetime BBC chat show.
Aha!
Sadly, Knowing Me, Knowing You battled against poor scheduling, having been put up against News at 10, then in its heyday. Due to declining ratings, a single catastrophic hitch, and the dumbing down of network TV, Alan's show was cancelled. Not to be dissuaded, he embraced this opportunity to wind up his production company, leave London, and fulfil a lifelong ambition. He returned to his roots in local radio.
Call of the night. OK, the lines are buzzing for tonight's hot topic. Who is your favourite rough-voiced singer? Rod Stewart and Chris Rea, big votes for them, but they've been massacred by a late surge from rasping taffy Bonnie Tyler. Wonder how many she smokes.
Roots that first sprouted in a field in East Anglia.
That's my watch. Well, just lost my blooming watch. Huh. Actually, keep that bit in. It's nice. I think it gives it a human touch. Nice.
Now single, Alan is an intensely private man and a keen businessman.
300k all we take it to Sky.
He's always on the lookout for new investment opportunities.
Town.
Tonight, we examine both the public, private and professional faces of Alan Partridge.
Chapter 1. Beginnings. Congratulations, Mrs. Partridge. It's a boy, said the doctor, handing me a boy to my mother. I had just been born.
Yeah.
Anyway, just...
Alan, your book, Bouncing Back, if you don't mind me saying, I think it's a rather brilliant book that only ended up out of print because it was not properly promoted by the publisher.
Thank you, Ray. I think that's fair to say.
Why did you want to come on television and talk about it?
I think to have my side of the story heard, but I'm not expecting an easy ride, Ray. I know you're one of the toughest in the business.
Thanks. How did you prepare for the writing of the book?
I spent a week in Prestatyn and I read 8 autobiographies, which, as you well know, is more than one a day. And I asked myself a lot of tough questions. I wrote them down and I put them in the book.
Shall we have another look at the book?
Yes. Where do I look?
No, to the right.
Am I a broadcaster? Yes. Do I hold a full driving licence? Yes. Am I very good at judo? Yes, little known fact. Did I once talk a depressed man down from a wall? Yes. But it wasn't that high, and he wasn't that depressed. He'd locked himself out of his business premises and was trying to get in. That was from a chapter entitled Yes, I Am, No, I'm Not. It's more or less the list I read, but slightly extended. It's the weakest part of the book.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say that.
Well, what do you think's the weakest part, Ray?
Well, it's. I mean, it's all great. I mean, it's all very good. I mean, it's a very good book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At one point, you speak so movingly about your Toblerone addiction.
Yes. We wanted to do a product placement deal with Toblerone, but they insisted on putting a mini Toblerone on the jacket cover, and I felt that would have cheapened an otherwise tragic tale of how I, Alan Partridge, bounced back. I remember one very low point, I got a whole one stuck sideways in my mouth, and a woman who works for me had to break its back with a toothbrush. I actually made myself sick. I mean, I didn't make myself sick. I spewed into a thermos. No prizes for guessing what I did with that.
A lot of people...
Threw it away.
A lot of people, when they get low, they turn to alcohol or drugs.
Yes, I know a producer in the business who is an alcoholic. But, you know, he makes a living, so people ignore it. When he's on the wagon, you see him in the pub with an orange juice, but you can tell he wants one. And, you know, his wife's left him again. She won't go back to him this time.
Oh dear, it was a bit of...
Yeah, he didn't knock her about. If anything, it was the other way around. I mean, you know about that.
Alan is extremely skillful at scaling the dizzy slopes of sports commentation.
This course actually reminds me of when I was tobogganing at the age of 16. I hit something and fell off. I was concussed. Hit a cat. No cats here, of course. The groundsmen are quite strict about not letting cats onto this course. One of those things comes down on a cat, it doesn't stand a chance. Sevi Ballesteros, the bullfighter. That's what I call him. Though, technically, he's a professional golfer. A friend of mine said recently, what do you get if you cross a ballerina and a bastard? Ballesteros was his answer. I guess if you analyse it, that Sevi combines the qualities of both those animals. He has the lithe sophistication and nimbleness of a ballerina, combined with the hard-nosed, ruthless thuggery of a bastard.
You had a fantastic career on national television, and yet you walked away.
That's the truth.
I know.
Yeah, whatever anyone else says. I didn't like myself back then. I was seriously frigged up. But I'm much happier now. In fact, every morning now, I get up in the morning, look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm Alan Partridge, and I like you. No, not every morning. This morning I was in a rush, got up, went, hi, gotta go, you know. But back then I was a monster. I mean, I've never got drunk on power, but on occasions I have been a little tipsy. These days I just stick to a half, maybe two at the most. If I'm driving, I'll just have a half. Yeah, I mean, I realise I'm just talking about drink now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, not power.
OK, it's not just me asking the questions tonight. We're also joined by my electronic assistant, Digital Dave.
Digital Dave.
OK, Digital Dave, far away.
How long did it take after your wife left you for your divorce to come through?
Wife,
yeah, it sounds like life, but it's wife, sorry.
How long after my wife left me did the divorce come through? 2.5 years.
What do you think of American football?
It's just futuristic rugby.
Is your wife still with the man she left you for?
Sorry, it's wife. I know it sounds
Wife's
like life, but...
No, she's not.
What is the best way to cook a sausage?
It's the best
What's the
way.
best way to cook a sausage?
Sausage, yeah.
Fork prick the skin to allow the moisture to escape. Simple as that.
What would you say to any young people heading for London?
To any 9 people heading for London.
So what would you say to any young people?
Go for the day. Visit Madame Tussauds. Get the hell out.
Alan has left the smoke firmly in his wake. You won't catch him paying the London congestion charge.
Elvis Costello there, part of our anti-London night with I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea. Ironically, Mr. Costello does in fact live in London. What a bloody hypocrite. I was going to play London Calling by The Clash, but it's awful. OK, right, just to let you know, the comedy character I featured on the show last night, the Iraqi, the Baghdad-based train spotter, has been cancelled and will no longer feature on the show. Out of my hands.
Alan, where do you think TV is going these days? Downhill?
Absolutely. I mean, my attitude to television became so low, as in not singular, but down, that at one point I was considering not having a television in my house. But in the end, I just went for one of those plasma widescreen ones, which are expensive, but good, and I can afford one.
But of course, it's not all downhill. Some of it is uphill. Because this is a very exciting time for digital TV.
Absolutely. I saw 2 excellent documentaries last week, both about mudslides.
What's your favourite film?
Titanic. I think what James Cameron did with that film was extraordinary. I mean, I went to see the film and afterwards I just had to drive straight home. You know, after I see a film, I have a curry, but after that, I just drove straight home. I mean, the film was also 3 hours long, so no air was open. That was the other reason I couldn't have a curry.
What's your least favourite film?
Gorillas in the Mist. I think it's a tragic waste of Sigourney Weaver, but if you mess about with monkeys, you will pay the price. Super Talk! And we're triple super talking tonight. 3 topics running.
Alan has never been afraid to tackle sensitive issues. He frequently sails close to the bone.
Trial separation. 2, what should we do about thieves, robbers, murderers, and mass murderers? And of course, the subject that's got the lines here in Meltdown for the second night running. Would you eat a colleague to survive? OK, line 1, we have Roy from Caister St Edmunds. Roy.
Hello?
Roy, would you eat, man?
Well, I was just thinking about those rugby players, right? What crashed their plane in the Andes Mountains.
Yeah, about bounce.
Yeah, and I was wondering, if they'd all been supermodels, or had crashed and not rugby players, then there wouldn't have been as much for the survivors to eat.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Roy. However, supermodels have smaller appetites, so the lack of meat wouldn't really be a problem. Similarly, if a plane load of sumo wrestlers came down, they'd have a bigger appetite, but then there'd be more of them to eat. So it sort of sorts itself out.
Yeah, there's not much meat on a supermodel.
Yeah, I know, that would be... Yeah, but I just made the point that in a plane of supermodels, the surviving models wouldn't have had much of an appetite anyway, so that sort of answers your point.
The sumo wrestlers have got like a big appetite.
I know! But as I said, in a plane of sumo wrestlers, Roy, there would be plenty of sumo wrestler meat to go round. I'm trying to have a serious debate, mate, about the rights and wrongs of cannibalism between people of similar stature. I didn't mention that earlier, but I would have thought that was implicit. You see my point, Roy?
Yeah, sorry for wasting your time.
That's all right. I'll speak to you again tomorrow.
So, shall we have some more questions from Digital Dave?
Yeah, sure.
Did you have a favourite uncle?
Did I have a favourite uncle?
Yes.
Yes, I did. Uncle Harry. He died last year, a virgin.
Oh.
Have you ever stolen anything?
The only thing I've ever stolen is other people's thunder and the limelight from Sue Lawley.
What's your favourite place in the world?
Gatwick Village.
If you could go back to that
Is that
time...
the end of Digital Dave?
Yes.
Yeah, I should say.
Sorry. If you could go back to that time in your life when you were temporarily hardly, very, very slightly overweight, what would you say to yourself?
Put down the Toblerone, go on a diet, get yourself a girlfriend, grow a beard, which is what I did.
Mm-hmm. What do you do these days if you feel low?
To relax, I collect celebrity memorabilia. This thing, this is the original first draft script from the comedy thriller Action Jackson. So, I've not seen it. And, for example, I have the dashboard here from the XJ6, as driven by Edward Woodward in The Equalizer. I'm very proud of that. Also, these are the trousers worn by Tom Baker as Doctor Who. The actual trousers.
The actual
trousers he wore. I wanted the scarf, but a phone bid came through from Tokyo. So the time is 10:09. That's the time. I'm talking to Amanda Crowther, Britain's top lady hawker. I don't mean she coughs a lot.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I do actually cough a lot.
Funny hawker. Although you should actually get that checked. Could be throat cancer. Now she keeps birds of prey. And that's actually quite funny because I was thinking of calling this part of the show. Normally call it Super Talk. I was thinking of calling it Super Hawk.
Yes, you'd have to call it super kestrel in this case.
Drop that. That's kestrel super. That's what tramps drink.
Super tramp.
Told you to drop it. Now, Amanda, can you train to the same degree of accuracy the following birds? A gull, a pigeon, a robin, and a bat.
No.
Why not?
Well, the birds have, if you like, a cognitive map in the brain, and that map is more highly developed in certain species than in others.
That bell ringing, by the way, is the bell that's attached to her foot.
Yes.
Why is there a bell on the foot?
Well, it's so that we know where she is.
Yeah. You can see the problem in the radio studio there.
Yes. Oh.
Should have thought about it before you came on the programme.
What are your beliefs?
I believe in the paranormal, I think, ever since I saw Christmas Carol. I don't mean a Muppet Christmas Carol with Sir Michael Caine, in which he gave a very moving portrayal of Scrooge. I mean the original cartoon by Dickens. Mm-hmm. But in terms of religion, I also sometimes like to hang out at the coffee shop in Norwich Cathedral, which shuts at 5, which is perfect for me. But it is 5 on the dot. There's no leeway. For a cathedral, they can be pretty officious. They sell club biscuits and scones in cling film, one of the few places that still do. What's happening to our national heritage?
Alan likes to contemplate his beliefs in the great outdoors.
Hi, I'm Alan Partridge. I'm a busy man. One day I can be recording a TV show. The next, I can be shuttling up to Harrogate to host a Get Motivated weekend for the Bostik sales force. But when I go back to Norwich, I like to relax by rambling. I switch off my mobile phone, put my pager on mute, and enjoy the stillness of the Norfolk countryside. Swaffham was our stalking ground when we were young. We'd all pile into the back of a friend's mustard-coloured Triumph Dolomite and have a picnic, and then drive home again. There's a caravan site there now. It's quite a good one. It's not gypsies. I mean, it's proper toilets and proper amenities. We're actually on the grounds of Mike Oldfield's country estate. We're not actually on his ground. This is common ground. That's Mr. Oldfield's over there. We did ask Mr. Oldfield if we could film there, but he said he wanted a bit of privacy. It's understandable. Would have been nice, a bit small-minded, really. A bit nasty. I used to come here as a child. I would skim stones. On one occasion, I hit a duck and it disappeared beneath the water. To this day, I don't know whether it was dead or just badly concussed. I love birds, and I like to come here and make bird noises. I'm no Dr. Dolittle, but there are times when I think birds are the only ones I can really talk to. Maybe that's because I'm a partridge. Alan Partridge. Someone should clean up these leaves. It's good to see you wearing trousers too. I imagine wearing a skirt would be very unwise with a hawk flying around.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm sure there's some sicko out there who put a mini cam on a homing pigeon and train it to believe that Knickers is home. Okay. What do you feed hawks on?
Mice.
What, real ones?
Yes, you can buy them frozen.
You mean real mice? You don't mean chocolate mice?
No, real mice.
You do that yourself?
Well, sometimes I let my children do it, actually.
I think getting children to feed dead frozen mice to birds is technically weird.
Well, they're not frozen when I give them to the birds. We let them thaw first in hot water.
Oh, my God. Has one of them ever come back to life and then died in the boiling water again?
No.
It's bad enough for hawks to eat mice. Can you ask it politely but firmly to stop waggling the claw with the bell on? I think it's bad enough for hawks to eat mice, but I think the freezing, boiling thing is just inhuman.
It's just natural selection.
OK, here's Mark Almond. I heard an awful story about him the other day. I'm sure it can't be true.
What are your 3 rules of life?
Well, I have 3 rules, Ray. 1, have a cup of coffee in the morning. 2, don't trust anyone. And 3, floss.
Shall we have some more from Digital Dave?
Absolutely.
What famous people do you know?
That's a tough one. I'll tell you what, best thing is probably if I looked at my phone and let it speak for itself. OK, here we go. Ball Johnny, Ball Michael, Ball Zoe, Boycott, meant to scrub that actually, Brandreth, Carling, Curry Edwina, Curry Tim, Curry's, Curry Favours, it's a humorously named curry house in Norwich. They're British actually. They put raisins in them, bloody awful, but they deliver. Hamilton Christine, Hamilton Neil, Hamilton David Diddy, and it goes on, you know. Oh, some soup for you.
Thank you.
Alan uses his contacts to help him organise fundraising events for good causes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Homeless. Oh. We're about to take a ferry to an island called Brian. That's because it's Brian Ferry. And there he is, Brian. Welcome to Norwich and Comic Relief.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. But we're delighted to have you now.
Thanks very much. It's very nice to be here.
Now, we all know your contribution to pop iconoclass and neatness in pop, which I know is something you feel very strongly about. But what not many people do know is, and I will be eternally grateful, because Brian here was the very first person to alert me to Tetters and Peps. Do you remember that? It was in a queue for a domestic flight.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine if you don't remember, Brian, but don't lie. It's Comic Relief. Are you going to be making a donation?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Great. Want to get your chequebook out? Just get a pen. I won't tell the audience what you're writing. You're listening to Alan Partridge and watching it. So, as I say, I won't say the amount. Suffice to say, it will buy you 2 microwave ovens, I think, or 3.5 Dyson vacuum cleaners, which again works because I know you're into neatness.
There you go.
There's one actually put your check card details on the back. Yeah, security.
Alan is one of the few people who genuinely enjoys charity work.
But, all right then, I will show my bottom. Here it is! It's a plastic bottom. It's a plastic bottom. So £500 to Comic Relief.
No, we don't think that's good enough, really. Do we?
No, I don't care. That's not what we rehearsed.
No, we'd like to see the real
well,
thing.
You can forget about that. No, get away! No! Please don't knock my ass! Not my ass! Please, no!
You have 2 children.
Yes, both unplanned, and unfortunately they do pick up on it.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about your relationship with women.
A friend of mine once said he liked his women like his parmesan, strong-smelling and shaved. I don't agree with that, but I don't like hairy women. Mm-hmm. I'd say a good 50%, or half, if you will, of my listeners do regard me as a kind of radio boyfriend. And they are women, as far as you can tell. Mary's on line 2. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Alan. How have you been?
Very well, thank you. Very well. How are you?
Oh, not so bad. Better at night time than in the day.
Good.
Did you get the doll?
Yes, it was in reception. There was a shoe missing.
What?
There was a shoe missing. Had rather thinning hair, I seem to remember.
Oh, Alan.
Looked like it had some sort of alopecia or something like that.
Oh, what?
It just looked like it was poorly on the head, hair.
It was mine when I was a baby.
Really? That's lovely, but you don't want to give that to me.
Well, it's precious and you're precious.
Thanks.
Is it on the TV theme tune night?
No, Mary, you and I know that's Thursdays.
Oh, I sent you a doll. Why can't I hum the theme to World at War?
Thursdays.
Bye.
Bye? What?
I say goodbye.
Bye. Ooh, let's have a bit of music.
She was a bit of a character.
Yeah, Mary's a regular caller. I don't know if anyone thought she sounded upset then. She sometimes does this thing that's half laughing and half crying, and I can't quite tell the difference. So it's bloody weird, but she's regular, she's reliable, and she's free.
I believe you're working on a new book?
Yes, yeah. It's set in the future, in the heady world of TV entertainment, and it's the year 3000. Everyone has a 3D TV on their wrist, and they travel around on monorails like the one at Gatwick Airport. It's very futuristic. It's set in the aftermath of a nuclear ratings war between two TV stations, one of which is based on Pluto. And TV presenter Jack Jupiter has 24 hours to do something. I've not figured out what yet. But the main thing is, each day is 10 hours long because they've gone metric on time. And the diary industry is in turmoil, that's a subplot. But one rebel, Alec Parsons, is determined to return to a 7-day week because it makes sense. So he goes back in time to the present to see what a week's like.
That's a very good twist.
Well, yeah, it is. And that's not the only. There are more twists. You need lots of twists these days. People expect them. A friend of mine told me that, and he's a librarian.
Look here.
What? I was very low. I went to Legoland to think. You need a day. It was more than I could do to stop myself from kicking over a large Lego robot who, in my twisted mind, had become the chief commissioning editor of the BBC. I was depressed. I stared into the abyss. And then I saw a chaffinch in the summer sun pecking at a discarded beef burger, and I thought, he's not trying to throw himself off a cliff, and I just drove away. Stopped off at a place called Buffalo Bill's. They've got old shell pumps on the wall and photos of a young Malcolm Brando from It's the Waterfront. And, as they say in America, I thought, the hell with it. And I just drove home, with the length of garden hose I had gaffer-taped to the exhaust trailing behind me like a giant mouse.
Why don't we leave the last question to Digital Dave?
Who are the faces to watch on television these days?
Did you get that?
Yeah, I got that. I've given this question a lot of thought, and I can honestly say I don't think there's anyone out there.
Alan Partridge, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good, that. Great. I like this bit. It's a bit like that bit on Melvin Bragg when he interviewed the lad with throat cancer. Harry Potter.
Dennis.
Dennis Hopper. Yes, I like this sort of keeping the mics on. It's very interesting and trendy.
Yeah, cheers. Do you fancy a quick drink?
Is it who's going? Just you? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a very
No,
good...
I'll just go back to Norwich. I think.
Okay. Well, thanks. See you around. Yeah.
God's sake, I can't get out here.
It's this one.
Okay. Right. I was told it was over there. Yeah.